So, where do I even start with this game? I wanted something not very demanding to play, and I thought to myself that the trailer for Stellar Blade Blood Rain at the recently held Summer Game Fest presented by Papa Jeff
That was a good one.
looked amazing. I knew instantly that I will be playing that when it releases, so now I had to play the predecessor first. And boy oh boy was I in for a ride, because this game couldn't be further away from not demanding. I knew basically nothing about it going in, only that it has sparked a bit of an outrage when it came out due to the appearance of the protagonist Eve. But I don't mind getting to look at a beautiful woman while playing, although I have to admit, some of her outfits can get a bit distracting. You get over it very quickly though, because this game has a lot more to offer than just a bit of fan service. Before we get into it, I should mention that this video isn't spoiler free, so now is your chance to click away if you don't want to see too much. I'll give you a bit more time to decide. Now that we are in the clear, let's start. We play as Eve and the story begins with us and the 7th Airborne Squad descending from the colony to reclaim Earth from the Naytibas. Humanity has been driven away to live in the colony after the Naytibas appeared and devastated planet Earth. We land on a shore and get thrown into a little tutorial section. Nothing fancy, but you instantly understand that the combat feels very good. It's somewhat like Devil May Cry. It never gets as crazy with the combos you can pull off though, which for me felt right. You can also dodge and parry, both having a perfect version. If you parry enemies perfectly enough times, they will stagger and you can critically hit them. A lot like in Sekiro, only here they lose points instead of having posture. You are also able to use special attacks called beta skills, and later on burst skills, which cost beta and burst charges to use. In addition, you have 2 more counter attacks, Blink, which will teleport behind an enemy and stun them with an attack, and Repulse, which pushes enemies back and exposes their weak point. We make our way to a rendezvous point, where we get confronted by a boss after our whole squad was wiped out by a crashing ship, leaving only us and our squad leader Tachy alive. We defeat him, only to get attacked by an even stronger Naytiba, an alpha, which has a very sick design. And here it dawned on me that this won't be the easygoing Goonabate game I falsely presumed it would be.
Eve! Get out of here!
Tachy!
It did a great job at catching me off guard and getting me intrigued. And I thought, oh boy, here we go again with the soul-crushing experience. Following the short but effective intro to the game, we jump forward in time and are now in the ruined city Eidos 7 in search of an alpha Naytiba, accompanied by a guy named Aehm. He mostly slips into the role of a guide while piloting a small drone which supports us on our mission. Aehm is a scavenger and needs a hypercell, so in exchange for our help in finding it, he leads us to the alpha Naytiba. A bit later it is revealed he was the one saving Eve at the shore. We fight us through the city, until we arrive at a parking tower where the first boss awaits us, and I hit my first wall. I don't know how often I died to this boss, but it was brutal. I couldn't believe that I'm having this much trouble with it, and I only played on normal difficulty. I already had problems with standard enemies earlier, and was pretty surprised by how quickly you die. I managed to pull through though, but this wasn't even the alpha we were searching for, only an elite. I had a bit of trouble with finding the right settings for the graphics, so I was a little frustrated and didn't really pay attention to what was said when we arrived at the Hall of Memories, where the hypercell Aehm is searching for is located, because here an important part of the story is revealed. The augmentation of humans in the past by an entity called Mother Sphere. My reaction was a lot like Eve's.
I have no idea what that was all about. Aehm, did it make any sense to you?
Later on, I would always find myself thinking, they always mention Mother Sphere, but who is that? I have no idea. I could piece it together later on though, so here is a quick summary about her. She is an hyper-advanced AI, which was created by a brilliant scientist named Raphael Marx in order to advance the human species. She succeeded in a spectacular fashion and made humans more resilient, so aging and sickness would now be a thing of the past. She created a paradise on Earth until the Naytibas invaded and she was forced to retreat the human species to the colony and form the Airborne Squad, which Eve is a part of, to reclaim Earth. Or at least that's her side of the story. The story in general seems very basic at first. Earth got invaded by an alien species, and you are the soldier liberating it from them while collecting MacGuffins to progress the plot. But after defeating the first Alpha Naytiba, which gave me flashbacks to a certain monkey boss, we meet Lily, a member of the 5th Squad, and an engineer. She joins our little group and we make our way to the last city of human survivors, Xion. Here the story gets a little deeper because we get to see how humans survive in the apocalypse and live their day-to-day lives. From this point on, Eve starts being confronted with questions about everything she's been taught, and even about herself. Not only through the main storyline, but also through side quests, which are available from now on. The story turns from killing a bunch of aliens to questions about who the Naytibas really are, and if Mother Sphere told us the whole truth to begin with. On the topic of Eve herself, at first I kept thinking, man, Eve wants to be 2B so bad, she even has the drone to go along with it. But I'm glad that she turned out to be a very different character and very lovable. She has this absolute pure personality, doesn't know anything about planet Earth, is kinda naive and only wants to help people in any way she can. Apart from accepting side quests in Xion, you can also buy things from citizens and talk to them. For example, you can get your hair done after you find the tools for the hairdresser. It's funny how he comments on Eve's hair and says it's dull, and it gets so much under her skin that we go out to find the tools, only so she can get him to make them not seem dull. Eve has some of these moments where she doesn't know things because she is not from Earth, and it makes for some pretty funny instances.
Adam, what is this?
Don't you know this already? It's a map.
A map? How do you synchronize the location on the map?
This is going to do a lot of good. Eve, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, looks like this used to be a library.
Are these boxes displayed on the wall storage devices?
Sort of. They can only store up to 1 megabyte of data.
What a waste of resources. Is this a water bottle?
No. This is the last gift a god ever thought to give us. Oh, Bacchus.
These moments make Eve very likeable and make you root for her even more. There are also small things that add to this, like she uses a gigantic hammer to smash an enemy's head in, and 1 minute later she struggles to open a chest, which I thought was very amusing. So after we arrive in the city, Adam guides us to the leader of Xion, Orcal. He congratulates us for retrieving the hypercell and the core of the Alpha Naytiba. He explains to us, however, that in order to reach the leader, the Elder Naytiba, we need in fact 4 Alpha cores to create the Master Core, which opens the door to the nest, sort of their birthing ground. He can locate the Alpha Naytibas, but needs a bit more power in order to do so, because one hypercell doesn't supply enough energy. And we are off to find another hypercell, located in the Wasteland at a mysterious underground facility called Altesse-Levoir. In the Wastelands, the game opens up a lot as it becomes this open-world area where we can move around freely. We arrive at our first camp here, but are met with a power outage. Camps are a system kinda like bonfires, but you find them much more frequently. Here you can heal up, replenish your potions, craft suits for Eve, as well as upgrade your skills, weaponry, drone, and equipment. Sitting down will also respawn enemies. For me though, the whole magic of these camps was the small vinyl player where you can listen to music. One song instantly stood out to me, Blur by U32. I would always sit down for a bit to just listen to it. While making this video I stumbled upon her YouTube channel, and she really is an amazing singer, so go subscribe to her and listen to her music if you can. The music in general is very, very good. I didn't expect to love it so much. It fits the game really well. Especially the more rocky ones during boss battles never failed to hype me up and often lowered my frustration considerably. Because okay, I'm dying a lot, but at least I get to listen to good music while doing so. They put tons of effort into it, and you can truly tell. It made the game really special to me and gave it a clear identity. To get the power back, we have to restore a solar tower, but I went straight for the underground facility though, which in hindsight wasn't the smartest decision. Before we can enter the facility, we have to defeat a guard with, let's say, a questionable outfit. It is expected to parry all her attacks so you can hit her. You can defeat her normally, but it takes forever. After numerous attempts, I beat her, and we are allowed to enter. The next part I really liked a lot, because the game takes away your sword, and forces you to use the drone to shoot enemies while always having to scavenge for ammo. It suddenly becomes this Resident Evil-like thing with jump scares, while we explore what turns out to be a research lab for Naytibas. At the end of the lab, we fight a very easy boss and retrieve the second hypercell, but Eve spots something else, a legacy from a previous squad member named Raven. It reveals that humanity lost a war even before the Naytibas arrived, against their own creation, the Eidos. With the second hypercell in our pockets, we head back to Xion and deliver it. Now that more energy is restored, Orcal can track down the second Alpha Naytiba. It is located at an old underground train station, Matrix 11. Here, a new type of Naytiba is introduced, the head crab from Half-Life. It can take over human corpses to get stronger and piss me off on more than one occasion, because if you don't kill it quickly enough, it just gets a new host over and over again until it runs out of them. This part of the game, for me at least, felt as if it would never end. It isn't bad, but I didn't like it very much either. Well, at least until we found the Alpha Naytiba. I already liked most of the boss fights very much until this point, but this one was absolutely amazing.
What's that noise? No way.
Tachy. How are you here?
The Alpha signal is spiking!
Eve, that's an Alpha Naytiba.
No. There's no way. That's impossible.
I felt really sorry for Eve because Tachy got taken over and now stands in our way as an Alpha Naytiba. It is a really tough fight because it's a bit of a skill check and you have to use what you have learned. In general, I have to say that you really have to pay attention while playing this game. You can't just check out mentally, and this fight really proves it for the first time. And also the thing with the music I mentioned earlier, because I was here for quite a long time. Tachy is freed from the acquisition, but dies in Eve's hands despite of it. As sad the whole scene might be, this was the only time during the game where I cringed, because for me personally, Tachy does some SpongeBob level acting here.
In that case, are we floating among the stars? To space. Tachy!
Afterwards, we need to get another hypercell. Here the game almost repeats itself, because to find it, we need to go to the desert, find an underground facility, this time Abyss Levoir. Fight Outfit Lady to gain entrance, do the Resident Evil part, kill the easy boss at the end and retrieve the hypercell and find another legacy. This time it reveals something truly remarkable. After the war mentioned in the previous legacy, the Eidos declared themselves the new humanity, and the surviving humans retreated to underground facilities like the one in which we find ourselves right now. To fight back, humans driven by Raphael Marx started researching and evolved into something new, some sort of monsters. The Naytibas. Eve and the whole colony are Eidos, and we killed humans throughout the whole game. It may sound like I didn't like that last part, but I actually didn't mind at all, because from this point onwards the game starts firing from all cylinders. Orcal confirms the truth about the Naytibas and the Eidos, but we still remain determined to get to the Elder Naytiba, so our next destination is the orbital elevator, which can take us to space where the next Alpha Naytiba and its core is located. Before that, we make a quick detour to Eidos 9, where Lily left something very precious and we need to retrieve it. A memory stick from a friend of hers, Iberis, which contains a hacking algorithm, and her memories. With that done, we make our way to the orbital elevator. Aehm has to head back to Xion though, because something bad is going on there and he needs to check. At the elevator we are stalked by a machine and later on have to fight it in a really tough encounter. Together with Lily, we manage to take it out and are off to space. The elevator resembles a train ride, and there is even a maid to take care of us, Arissa. She guides us for a bit, and we get some really nice views while we ascend. When we arrive at the recreation room though, Arissa is killed by falling debris, so we need to progress on our own and reach the premium lounge and the next boss. Again, a really cool fight. I probably repeat myself, but I can't stress enough how well done most of them are. This time it didn't take me hours, probably because I was very absorbed by the game at this point and wanted to see it through. We climb up the last part of the elevator and find the Alpha Naytiba, but after defeating it, something is off. It doesn't have an alpha core like the others before it, and in a moment of carelessness, Eve is thrown out of the window by it, and the true form of the Naytiba is revealed, a horrifying creature which we now have to fight in outer space. It's more of a set piece though, because we only need to shoot it a few times, but in the process, Eve has to use all of her energy and falls down to Earth, losing the core in the process. Lily manages to call for backup though, and Eve is brought safely to the ground. Back on Earth and reunited with Lily, we immediately head for Xion, and witness it being destroyed by the Naytibas. We rush to check on Orcal and Aehm, but they are nowhere to be found. Instead, a familiar enemy now stands in our way, the Alpha who attacked us in the beginning of the game. We are finally able to get our revenge. Shockingly, after the fight is over and we acquire the core, someone emerges from inside the Naytiba, Raven, the squad member from the Legacies. She flees the scene though, and we head onwards to find a heavily injured Orcal. We tell him that we got 4 cores, but sadly lost one in space. But in another turn of events, he reveals himself as the very first Alpha Naytiba, and in his last moments gives us his core so we can create the Master Core and reach the nest. In front of the nest, we are now confronted by Raven, as she guards the entrance to it. She explains to us that she should have been the chosen by the Elder Naytiba, but says that instead of her, it chose Eve. A strange thing to say. This is the reason why she went mad and attacks us. The fight that follows is the absolute best one in the whole game, with godlike music to go along with it. It demands that you use everything against her and feels very satisfying.
So now, you won't be able to fight. You've taken so much from me. In exchange, I'll allow you to witness the end. In that state.
Yes, Eve, exactly. Tell her. When we arrive at the nest and make our way to face the Elder Naytiba, I felt quite stupid for not catching on that it is Aehm. It was right in front of us the whole time. Just the 2 names, Aehm and Eve, should have told me instantly that they are the key figures in the end. But till the end I was like, oh man, I wonder who the Elder Naytiba will be. It even mirrors themes from the story in Genesis. For example, Eve is completely innocent at the start, but by gaining knowledge through memory sticks, side quests and conversations with Aehm, she loses that innocence and can never go back to it. A lot like Eve eating the forbidden fruit. The game uses the story of Aehm and Eve as a familiar foundation, but then puts its own twists on it. They even got biblical accurate angel. Aehm starts explaining that in order to really set the path for a new humanity, something new is needed. Eidos and Naytibas can't coexist. He proposes that the most advanced Eidos, Eve, and the very first Naytiba, himself, fuse together and become something new, a truly advanced human, not monster, not android. So he lets us decide if we believe him and take his hand or decline and let Mother Sphere continue with her lies and wars. And of course I'm going to take the hand of my boy Aehm.
Are you Eve?
Yes. Well, it's hard to describe, but... Lily, I am the Eve you remember.
I was worried that you had become someone I didn't know.
Lily.
Connection to the colony complete. Sending protocol. Sensing strong Naytiba signals nearby. Switching to combat mode.
Suit is moving by itself.
It must be because the Elder disappeared.
This is a combat command sent from the colony. Ah! Eve! Watch out!
This fight, after all the great encounters beforehand, was abysmal. I literally had to delete footage of the fight because it filled up my hard drive so I could record more of the fight. It's nothing like any other in the game, and in the end I got lucky even, because I never figured out what to do when he charges his big ball of absolute BS. It killed me for the 100th time, but I could revive and finally manage to take it down. I was so glad when it had a little bit of life left, release Lily, and Eve enters some sort of god mode where she can't die anymore. Following this gruesome experience, a childlike figure appears, which turns out to be Mother Sphere, which I thought was a bit weird and I didn't really understand why. She thanks us. I assume because we got rid of the elder Naytiba, but that doesn't seem to matter because she still sends a whole army against us and we fight it until the credits begin. In the end, I was very glad that I got this game and I can't wait to play the next entry. It all started off with me having mixed feelings, but the more I played, the more everything grew on me. Especially Eve herself surprised me a lot. I admit, I sometimes just stopped to look at her. But when the credits rolled and we got to see her and Lily, now guarding Xion, it felt surprisingly wholesome and very earned for them. I liked getting a happy ending for once in a while. The whole game certainly has its quirks, but they are vastly overshadowed by great gameplay, amazing music, and a nice story. Every piece on its own isn't groundbreaking stuff, but they come together to be something truly great. Also, your reward for beating the game is getting an even tighter app.